Before I get started with today's video, I just want to give a huge shout out to the folks in my Discord who helped me brew today's list. Kath, John, Laura, Ruthless, Ocelot, and everyone else who contributed. Thank you very much. I needed the soundboard on this one. With that being said, here we go. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and we've got something kinda wild today, featuring a Rakdos card that you maybe haven't seen before. Zoyowa Lava Tongue. 2/2 Death Toucher, Goblin Warlock. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, each opponent may discard a card or sacrifice a permanent of their choice. Zoyowa Lava Tongue deals 3 damage to each opponent who didn't. Now, we're going to talk about a conceptual thing real quick. We're going to talk about choices. Generally speaking, when you make choices, that's good. It gives you agency. When you give your opponents choices, if they're playing well, they are always going to select the option that is best for them and hence worst for you. So, if your opponent has a bunch of life, yeah, they will happily take 3. They have a bunch of cards in hand and not the mana to cast them, yeah, they will discard a card. So this is a card that you perhaps should not build around, because your opponent is always going to select the option that is best for them. And many times, you can give up either 3 life or a card or a permanent without being particularly impacted. Now that we've had that discussion, let's build around it. This was a little bit tough to do. And the thing that finally made the deck come together was actually Oliphant, believe it or not. In my initial version of this deck, I wanted to essentially be a Descend deck. I wanted to trigger Descend, or that's not quite right. I wanted to trigger my permanents that have Descend as frequently and consistently as possible. And I was running into this problem where I just frankly did not have enough cards in deck to make Fury work, but it really felt like Fury was going to be important for tempo-based reasons as something that I could hardcast in the late game if we flood out. I felt like we needed more removal, and even if I put this in the sideboard, I was just too black heavy. A bunch of the initial builds had things like Nethergoyfs and Barrogoyfs in the main deck, and it just wasn't quite working out. And then I sent it to the Discord, and they came up with playing 8 Cyclers. Now, Troll was originally on my mind. That was something that I was considering because, Troll Reanimate is just one of the easiest things to be doing in Legacy. Even if you don't go in Tomb levels of deep, this is just a really strong synergy that allows you to cheat on lands. But by playing 8 of these, we can become hyper consistent and we can lower our land count. Now we are certainly cheating here a little bit. We are on 15 actual lands with 8 cyclers, 8 cyclers, 4 redraws in the form of Bobble, and then a few Lotus Petals. The Lotus Petals aren't overly impressive here, but they give us some openings like Thoughtseize you, reanimate your creature, play the Lava Tongue immediately on turn 1 and trigger it, play a Thoughtseize and a Stalker in 1 turn. And honestly, we just need a few more permanent types to turn on things like DRC, as well as Unholy Heat. Notably here, we are playing not the entire set of Lightning Bolts, we are hedging with Unholy Heat. I think Fatal Push is reasonable to do here as well, but again, we're trying to have a reasonable red count for Fury. Fury is removal, Fury is another way to descend, Fury is another reanimate target. There is a lot to like about Fury within this shell. There are a lot of things that we thought were very close to making their way into this deck, and I just want to highlight a couple in case you decide that you want to experiment with this on your own after seeing it on the channel. Ripples of Undeath is something that I thought would work. It is an enchantment for the purposes of things like DRC and Unholy Heat. It mills cards, it draws cards. This was something that was in the deck for a little while in the trial stages. And then Fear of Missing Out is another card that I like. It is an enchantment creature for our graveyard count for Delirium, which is a big deal. It itself also has Delirium, and if you are giving extra combat steps to a Troll or a Fury, or honestly even just a DRC, like you get your value off of that very, very quickly. As far as the sideboard goes, things are highly targeted here. Generally speaking, I think Leyline of the Void is very important in current Legacy. Oops All Spells is a very strong deck right now. It's not really in meme territory anymore. So I think the hard shutting off the graveyard is a really big deal. We're going to have Meltdown to clear out things from artifact decks. Urza Saga tokens in particular might be a problem for us. We're going to be pretty good at finding one removal spell in a game, but things might grow outside of the range of our red removal in some instances, and when that happens, having Meltdown as a catch-all is a big deal. We have some flexibility in our removal spells once we go to the post-sideboard games. Pyroblast, for example, is something that can hit Murktide Regent, which is something that might dodge some of this other red removal, and we are playing Feed the Swarm specifically in respect of an opposing Leyline of the Void. If things go wrong and an opponent does leyline us, we can just play some creatures that can scale off of my opponent's graveyard, or if we make it to the very late game, we do have some big haymakers that we can just start casting. There are a couple of questions I still have about the deck building here. So for example, is this card actually worth it in this shell when very specifically, I am often going to be using my first land to swamp cycle these creatures or mountain cycle these creatures to make my next land drop? The ETB tapped land is a really big deal in this deck because a huge number of openers that we're going to see are going to have one land rather than two. I think it's still worth it because I have 8 things that can tutor for it, but it might bite us in the butt a couple of times in this league. Another thing that's on my mind is whether or not I need something like Blood Moon in the deck list for the Eldrazi matchup. I am hoping that we can do something that is comparable in speed to Eldrazi draws, at least when I do the reanimation stuff. But I think Sowing Mycospawn will probably eat us alive in a lot of cases. I think there's going to be a lot of cases where we end up with like 2 bad lands and we end up losing both of our lands at the same time. And it's pretty hard to come back from that. I think I'm going to ignore that Blood Moon aspect and play this as is. You always find out you're missing something once you start going into a league, and we'll see what that is. For example, we don't have any Pithing Needle style effects that could shut off a Planeswalker. We could find that that ends up being problematic, but we do have Fury, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. With that being said, if you need your Zoyoas for your own local legacy event, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. Tales of Adventure is an awesome store. I buy from them all the time. Promo code ThrabenU will save you a little bit on your order. If you're going to a major in-person event, look for this purple banner. You'll probably find some pretty sweet deals under it. So, let's get in there, play some good, honest Rakdos magic. Oh man, I just had the weirdest visual bug where my entire screen was just black in most of the common areas. But seems like it's better. I've won the die roll. Yeah, this seems fine. I could start this game on basics, or I could start this game by surveilling. I think I like starting the game on basics. It's a little awkward if I end up lightning bolting on turn 1 because my opponent plays something like DRC. Because I want to descend here. But I think I like doing this. So bam, bam, basic, yeah, Zoyowa, I choose you. Art here is slightly haunted, by the way. I dig it. But now we're going to move to that choice phase. No, don't kill it. Don't kill it. It has so much to live for. No. Sadness resolves. So what is opponent playing? Stifle Knot maybe? Beans maybe? Jeskai Control maybe? Fuck it, let's find out. I think we're going to take a peek. I would like to surveil this turn, so I'm not going to play around Spell Pierce. There's Spell Pierce. Snapcaster Swords is probably the most annoying thing that my opponent has going on over there. I'm gonna take that Snapcaster. I am... I guess I actually want to cycle now, huh? Weird. Okay. Actually, I want to Mountain Cycle. I would want to cast the Troll if this game goes on for a little while. Just gonna grab the other basic. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I have 3 card types in graveyard. Instant will be my 4th type. I can get a little surveil value. Opponent can brainstorm. We would prefer to come out of the gates quickly while playing this deck. But if we settle in for a longer game versus a control deck, we can just start hardcasting a pile of 6-drop draft commons. Untapped Tundra, not a surveil land. Wasteland's fine. Ah. Okay. So, against Standstill, you need to figure out where you fall. So you can either just choose to break the Standstill immediately and play Magic, or you can choose to try and wait it out if you believe that the long game favors you. But I don't think that the long game favors me. I think I have options if the game goes long. But I think if my opponent has endgame Haymakers, your Supreme Verdicts, your Timeless Dragons, your 4th Airlingas, I think that ultimately favors my opponent. So I think I'm just going to crack the Standstill here. There's some times where my opponent will just Force of Will here. I don't have this creature, and we'll move on with our lives. Because I specifically know that my opponent has Spell Pierce, I am just going to Lightning Bolt right now, or rather when that does not matter. And I'll pass the turn. I do not intend on cycling this Troll from here. This is very much not an enviable position, though. I think it's very easy for my opponent to 1-for-1 us with Prismatic Endings, Swords to Plowshares, and such, and then eventually bury us with Shark Typhoon, Snapcaster Mages, whatever. Yup. This is where we would want, like, the FOMOs. Animate dead. Hell yeah. We are playing around Spell Pierce. We're getting a response. There could be actual factual counterspell here. That would not be surprising to me. Yes. Now we're in this mid game that we don't want to be in, where my opponent can start Mystic Sanctuarying back 1-for-1 cards, and it is favorable for them. Yeah. And now a bunch of the things that I can top deck, like a Stalactite Stalker, are just not great. There is a punish for not cycling. I can't cast this immediately, but that's not the end of the world. I think I hold it. Unless my opponent plays out a Planeswalker, at which point, like, we can talk about needing to cycle the Troll in an attempt to cast Fury. Yes. This unfortunately still means that actual factual counterspell is up, and Teferi is outside of range of just dying to Fury instantly. So I think we are not cycling. Rewarded? Are we just trading? Yeah, counterspell gets something at some point. And it's not like I can use the Troll as bait reliably. Generally speaking, there aren't that many lands left in our deck. We have fetched out a lot of them. There's still plenty of fetch lands to help us get to that point. No. Teferi is going to continue going up. Opponent does not feel the need. Awkward. Now I have to Troll cycle once. Yes. Got a little bit of client-side lag today. So if you notice any big bursts of time missing, not on the players. I will Swamp Cycle. Pick up Badlands. So I do have exactly one more mana-producing land in the deck, since our opponent has Wastelanded us twice. If I get Wastelanded one more time, I can't actually cast Troll anymore. Not that Troll is, like, particularly great right now or anything, but it's a thing. I'm just gonna check. So there's not a swamp or a mountain. We have those both already. Yep. So this is it. This is the end. Let's cast that one first. The problem here is that my opponent can just, like, counter these or not. So I think we are in a period where it appears that we are playing Magic, but I don't know that we're actually playing Magic. This is not a comfy position. Reanimate is great, I think I am using my mana efficiently, though. I want to cast these 6 drops before my opponent randomly wastelands me. Alright. We get forced. Barry is just going to plus all the way to the goddamn moon. Whatever this is bad. I hate it. Okay, honestly, that could have been worse. It could have been like a Jace the Mind Sculptor. But this does kill me pretty quickly. And if I kill it, it just comes back. I think I reanimate Fury. If this thing gets bounced, it's the least bad for me because I get value on it. There another counter spell? Yeah, so there's the red. That red probably represents 4th Aerlingas. Yes, there's another counter spell. I'm not interested in casting Lightning Bolt on anything that's currently on the board. Oh, 10 loyalty on Teferi is wild. That is not something that you usually see. It's quite good against what I'm doing. Now the slow cantrip is brutal here. Take our redraw in the upkeep. I mean, that's perfectly castable, but got problems. I think at this point, most of the things that I can do just get tempoed by Teferi, and I take 2 more Timeless Dragon hits. So, like, in theory, I would like to multi-spell. I don't know if that is actually happening in practice, though. Alright, now it's Snapcaster. I take 7 damage immediately. Now I would need to... Oh, yeah, and then, like, my opponent can Teferi bounce Snapcaster, counterspell again. Okay, I think at this point I will tap out. I have seen enough. Versus control, we would like additional threats, and we would like the ability to answer planeswalkers. Countering Standstill is a plus as well. Hey, we can use Feed this form to answer Standstill. Maybe not. Okay, Lightning Bolt is sometimes good versus planeswalkers. Thoughtseize is not the best top deck. Can punch a temporary hole in our opponent's game plan. I don't know that I close that hole fast enough, though. I think I just like getting threat heavier. The Goyfs and 1 Pyroblast replace this. Does it only hit planeswalkers? Yes, it does. That's probably largely better than Lightning Bolt. I think I'll submit like this. If my opponent is randomly playing an absolute fucking haymaker like Rest in Peace, I might need to adjust if we go to a game 3. This is fine, but both my 1-drops are slightly awkward here. I'm not scaling up either one immediately. I can probably wait till Fury is hardcastable. I don't think I need to hold the red card in hand. I think I get the highest upside if I play out DRC. I am unsure if it strongly matters which one of these I play here. I think in a lot of games it's pretty likely that I end up losing both of these 2 removal spells over the next 2 turn cycles. The sequencing matters a lot more when we get to the mid-game, and I am jockeying to try to do cool things with stuff like this. We do not hit something that makes either the Stalker or the DRC relevant. Seems like my opponent is considering Force of Will. Yeah. That probably means that they are about to come down with a Standstill. It is a Tamiyo. 1 land. Ooh. Well, that means that the clues that this produces aren't actually very good. This is a scary spot for my opponent. They could brainstorm, flip the Tamiyo immediately, and we could get into a interesting and difficult game. Lorien Revealed is a great draw for them. We're going to get that secondary Tundra. Swords is perfect. That was a turn cycle that my opponent needed there. Absolutely. Now they have the ability to crack the clues, and the Tamiyo is relevant again. We have a red card. I think I am not pitch casting Fury immediately. I think I would like to hardcast that next turn. I think the body that represents is pretty valuable, but I am not 100% sure that I am correct here. They just always have the land drop that I need unless I get wastelanded. This only goes up to 4 loyalty, so if it flips, I do just still kill it with Fury, assuming that Fury does resolve. I also just have a decent amount of onboard power, so there's that too. So this pluses to 4, which my 4 power creature does not actually kill because of the plus ability. We will cycle for another Badlands. I want another untapped land specifically. Got the theater in there for later if we need it. This is a little weird. I think I cast the Fury pre-combat. A lot of times you want to do your combat first and then react appropriately. But I just gained the ability to nuke this Tamiyo and then crash in with the Goyf. Okay, yeah. Opponent missing a land drop was really big for me winning this game. But the no counterspell or force of will right here is probably game defining. So now I know about Tamiyo making early Lightning Bolt a little bit better. Unholy Heat becomes a little worse, because it does not answer Tamiyo immediately like Lightning Bolt does, but Unholy Heat is better versus Planeswalkers later on. I think I am going to go the Lightning Bolt direction. A control deck 1-for-1ing you is only favorable for the control deck if they have some sort of card like Staff of the Storyteller, Jace, Fourth Airlingas, the Monarch, whatever, that is giving them value beyond just the 1-for-1 trades. So, kind of want to hold up Pyroblast for a turn, but I'm definitely the beatdown deck, so that might just be wrong. If I hold up Pyroblast for a turn, I get better against Swords to Plowshares into Standstill, which is one of the worst things that can happen to me right now. Second land drop, multiple colors, Prismatic Ending is fine. Ooh, we have some haymakers. DRC with Pyroblast backup is fine. This descending immediately is also fine. If I do this, I kind of want to fetch immediately, which would probably want basic swamp, but I kind of want red right now. I think I'm going to play Badlands. I think I'm going to play Badlands. Can you Badlands now? Good. This is some wild lag. I just booted up too, so this is very much not normal. I will probably aggressively Pyroblast a blue thing that goes on the stack here, because growing the graveyard is relevant for multiple different cards right now. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Get out. It's a great Spell Pierce opportunity. Land can go to graveyard. The Surveilling is like absolutely fine with the stuff that I have access to here. Sure. Combat. Send it. 19. I think I play my worst card here. I think I let my opponent answer some of this stuff, and then I play the bangers. Legendary creature here is awkward. I think I'm just going to put a creature into graveyard or DRC. So that's 3 card types. We trigger Zoyowa. I imagine my opponent will just take 3 damage. Also, the earlier I play Zoyowa, the higher chance I have of accumulating a reasonable amount of value with it. We might eat a Supreme Verdict here, in which case I stick my Goyf afterwards, which would feel really good. Yeah, it is Supreme Verdict. This is one of the other reasons why I didn't want to play this immediately. Oh, shit. That's so fucking good. Yeah. So Goyf, if Goyf gets forced, I reanimate it. If Goyf does not get forced, Badlands, reanimate, target, Zoyowa. Wow. So opponent had Force of Will and chose not to force my Goyf? Absolutely wild. Like, I had the reanimate, so like that would have gone well for me. But I'm somewhat surprised. It is a prismatic ending. That worked very well for my opponent. I do not have a playable card this turn. Game swung back in my opponent's favor very, very quickly. Land drop not doing it right now, though. That is not quite what I am looking for. I will make a land drop. That's fine. I will pull the more restrictive mountain out of the deck. I probably aggressively Pyroblast a Ponder here. No play. Reanimate around Force of Will is probably better than Hardcast Fury. Elephant. Smash. Alright, it's in play. I have Pyroblast up. I'm not sure that I blast a Ponder anymore. That is becoming less clear to me. Brainstorm, though. Brainstorm's really good. That lets my opponent convert this presumably dead card into a real card, which I don't want right now. Notably, the trigger here can't target itself. It is another target creature. So it's real cool with Fury. Don't mind that draw. That lets me look and see if my opponent's top card is going to be something like Terminus or Supreme Verdict 11 before I commit Fury to the board. What you got? Brainstorm. Brainstorm into Supreme Verdict is possible, but I think I am okay with saying remove my creatures or you die. I think my opponent's current card in hand is something dead, either like a land or a Spell Pierce or something that doesn't really make sense to cast. And I think I want to shut the door on this game before my opponent can top deck something brutal. Regardless of final score on the scoreboard here, this was a very good first round for the deck overall. So there's a shuffle. Ooh, Mystic Sanctuary, Supreme Verdict into another cantrip redraw. Supreme Verdict is very, very good. 5 mana, Timeless Dragon. Okay, so my opponent is just going to try to stay alive for one turn. Land drop. Why did I play that? That was dumb. That was dumb. I just went on autopilot there. My opponent will block. I can now sacrifice this. Shrink that creature. So I will trample over for 1. Oh, I guess the double strike is still fine. Never mind, I was overthinking everything. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists, and they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out. This is an extremely high variance hand. I am going to keep it, but it is an extremely high variance hand. This hand can remove a creature on turn 1, reanimate a effective 6-power creature. There is something to like there. However, if it gets disrupted, the hand is very much not good. I'm not sure what to pitch. Oh, am I getting stifled? An honest to goodness stifle. Yeah. Welp. Now I think I'm pitching Fury. I think I keep Unholy Heat in case this is some sort of mono blue Delver deck. Don't think I play Reanimate around days. I think I'm just jamming. Yeah. Alright, nice. So we have successfully put a 3/3 double striker into play. And the hope is that this can go all the way and kill my opponent before they can set up some Phyrexian Dreadnought nonsense. The problem is that Phyrexian Dreadnought nonsense can happen as soon as this turn. Just land drop, Dreadnought, stifle, GG. Fuck. Yeah. 3 card types in graveyard. Okay, okay. Oh, my life total though. At Thoughtseize, I have a sorcery in the graveyard already. Okay, so we surveil land at sorcery speed to play around Stifle. Another Fury. That is creature for Unholy Heat. Fuck, my opponent's not really blocking. I feel dead. I had Delirium with Threshold going into this turn. I can Fury attack, Unholy Heat, and that's 12. As it stands, I'm currently at 1, and then Unholy Heat is not good enough to get me through the turn through Trample. Take 12. I'm at 1. Swords. No. Brutal opening from my opponent. Stifle, swords with Dreadnought. Good shit. I'll take another draw. But my Lightning Bolts and Unholy Heats are not fatal pushes, and Phyrexian Dreadnought was a matchup that we talked about in deck building this deck, and we were all like, it's less than 2% of the metagame. We'll ignore it. What? Okay. Let's just take a peek, see if there's anything spicy over there, and then I'll concede. Oh, you won't even let me see the cool cards? What a jerk. Yup. Alright. Well. Yep. Okay. So these lightning bolts and unholy heats aren't going to feel great. Those are probably going to go. I am very bad at beating a Dreadnought once it is in play. So I would like to stop it from getting into play. That's what this is for. We can do Meltdown as 2 mana, answer 1 target Phyrexian Dreadnought. Fury, also not great here. I think we're also going to take Furies out. We will do something that looks like this. Oh, actually, there's Feed the Swarm too. Let's sort by mana value now. I think I need Thoughtseize. I think I have a real weakness here. I think I'm going to go down Animate Dead to play Feed the Swarm. I think I just need as many things as possible to not die to Phyrexian Dreadnought. And we just hope that a tempo game goes okay if we don't die to Dreadnought. We didn't get to see a bunch of the rest of my opponent's deck, so I won't fully know what their secondary creatures are. Curie, Emergent Intelligence is sometimes seeing play in these lists as a pseudo-psychic frog that occasionally can get real big. Alright, so we are going to start with our scaling threat, and then we'll try to do some mid-range stuff next turn. The fact that my fetch lands and my trolls can be stifled is a little scary. What are you rocking over there? Tamiyo. Sure. So as we go down the lightning bolt style cards to further hedge against Phyrexian Dreadnought, we get worse against any secondary cards my opponent is playing. I think we're so incredibly dead to Dreadnought that we just accept that, but it doesn't necessarily feel good. We'll see if Tamiyo comes down immediately, or if my opponent's going to spend a turn doing something like a Swords to Plowshares, or frankly just holding up Stifle. Alright, we are holding up something. Thoughtseize plus hold up Pyroblast. Sounds great. Combat. Send it. Opponent's at 18. Sort of awkwardly, I do need to give them an opportunity to stifle so that I scale this. I think that is very important. And I think if my opponent stifles, I do not Pyroblast that. Cool. I will Thoughtseize. Okay. Let's make a stand here. Well, shit. Statement made. Now we get to the point where Thoughtseize resolves. I will be taking a Phyrexian Dreadnought here. But my opponent is allowing me to take this. I think that is a very important distinction here. Like, they could have hidden that, and instead they, wrong order? Question mark? Like, presumably you put that 2 down, unless there's just 2 of them? I know about a Tamiyo. Yeah, I think my opponent just flubbed their Brainstorm. Unless there is simply something that I am not seeing. Alright. I can reanimate a troll. Send in with the Stalker. 14. I'm not playing around Spell Pierce here with Reanimate if I cycle or do this. I will cycle basic. Guess I could play around a Daze. I'm probably not missing the mana next turn anyway. Reanimate a troll. Okay. We get the concession there. That was either a mistake or a misclick or something. It is what it is. Gotta move past it when it happens. So I now know that there's Tamiyos to deal with. Feed the Swarm still kills that. Pyroblast still kills that. Meltdown does not kill that. There's also Triumph of St. Catherine, which is a whole nother thing that my red removal is pretty bad at answering. The Unholy Heat does not answer Dreadnought. It answers Tamiyo if I have Delirium, but does not answer a turn 1 on the play Tamiyo. 5/5 from Hell is a problem. Do we just die to it? Is that the plan? Draw Feed the Swarm? Easy? I could potentially not Thoughtseize on the draw and play extra interaction and do something like this. Hedge against Tamiyo, give myself an out to end game Triumph of St. Catherine. Land, artifact, creature in graveyard for Unholy Heat and Goyf. This is an unimpressive turn 1, but I will get a draw step plus 2 redraws. I think that's fine. Opponent going to 5 cards. I'm very scared of this matchup when I am playing a non-cantrip deck. I don't get to select for the perfect answer. Kinda have to hope what I have works. Misty. No turn 1 Tameo. Alright. Bullet number 1 dodged. Yeah. Yeah. Bobble myself. A Stalker. That is a fine draw. I will draw that. I will play a bobble. I will pass the turn. I'd like to draw this card. I get my Stalker. Wasteland. Wasteland complicates things a little bit regarding like surveil lands and using bobble as selection with Scalding Tarn. So I am going to attempt to select here. A Reanimate is perfectly fine. I will attempt to draw that card. I say attempt because my opponent could fuck around with Wasteland. Alright, fantastic. Let us attempt a Scalding Tarn. Okay, this is good. I want to get Scalding Tarn stifled if my opponent is going to stifle, because I actually want basic Swamp here, given this hand. So now I fetch, get the basic, and play out the Stalker, and next turn I can cycle into Reanimate and put a lot of pressure into play. I have 2 card types in graveyard, with Troll being the third, if it stays there. I don't have great options versus a Dreadnought. Damn it! Right now. Yeah. Come on, Meltdown, baby. Fuck. 12 plus 6 is unfortunately 18, so I cannot reanimate these things anymore. Fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. That's so bad. Mountain. Play Mountain as land drop 4 turn. Crash in for 2. We descend. I am a little bit short as far as being able to block with this goes. Can I double block? Sorcery is going to grow this by 1. I might be able to stay alive. And Ponder not shuffling makes me very nervous. Take 12. I'm at 6. This is going to be tight. Got Badlands. Play a Goyf. I can block 9 of this. I need to leave back the extra body, though. Yep. Okay. So what did my opponent keep last turn with Ponder, if not a counterspell to back up Dreadnought? Did my opponent keep 1 of white removal spell and land, and now needs to find the other? That's no shuffle. There's white source. I may be dead here. We're going to give it a go. Damage. Hot damn. Fully thought I was dead. I guess the next thing is, do I get wastelanded? I do not get wastelanded. Sick. I get wastelanded once my opponent allows me to untap it. I don't think I like that. I don't have anything like an opposition agent that I can cast here. I don't think I like the decision. Okay, alright. We're safe adjacent from the next one. I can reanimate something here. I think I am just going to use my mana efficiently and assume that at some point in the future I can reanimate plus some other spell. And the reanimate becomes safer once I get a connection with this. My opponent has cast multiple cantrips and kept cards, but has not kept things that are winning them the game. So I don't understand what my opponent has in hand, really. Yeah, they've kept this Ponder as well. This is removal. That's fine. I have another one in the graveyard that I can get. And I'm potentially just getting a Goyf over a larger creature here. Or, and hear me out, we have our cake and eat it too. Attempt Reanimate on Goyf. We're in play. Am I willing to do another? I think I'm willing to do another. Oliphant has how much base power? 6, so it's really 8. Not lethal. I think I'm going to take the Oliphant for the upside of hitting for 2 more with Goyf and hence gaining 2 more life. We'll see if we have flown a little too close to the sun by reanimating both of these. I wonder if my opponent has just pondered into more ponders and more brainstorms and viewed that as acceptable, rather than taking a chance rolling the dice and potentially high rolling. A little hard to tell from this side of the battlefield. We might speculate. My opponent is a newer Legacy player. They botched that Ponder in a previous game and put Triumph of St. Catherine in the wrong spot. Maybe they're not super accustomed to cantrips. But this is wild speculation territory. I do not have the best read on what my opponent is doing right now. We have a land drop to clear the Brainstorm. I'm also not going to read into the clock discrepancy today. There's some bad moto lag. We've got a fetch. Dreadnought Stifle. Dreadnought. And a consign to memory to keep it around. And now, the glorious meltdown that I have boarded in gets to do its thing. Do I play DRC first? I don't think so. I think I want my Goyf hit rather than Surveil. Meltdown. Clarifying in case that wasn't clear, I think I want my Goyf hit digging 7 deep there, and then I can potentially cast Zoyowa and put my opponent very, very close to dead there. GG's. I'm going to keep this opening hand, but we are going to see some of the downsides of Lotus Petal here. So Lotus Petal exists to allow us to have multiple 1-drop starts or to play Zoyowa on turn 1. But when we don't have the multiple 1-drops, things can look... Goblins? In the year of our Keranos 2025? I salute you. Good luck. Good luck, friend. We will, I think, grab a basic here. I don't, like, super want to get wastelanded immediately. I could do a crazy person thing instead. Do I want to do a crazy person thing instead? I could theater immediately. I don't know that that's good. I'm going to play out 1 Lotus Petal in case things get a little fucky on the other side of the battlefield. And I need to emergency Unholy Heat. That usually doesn't happen, but it could. Cavern. Goblins confirmed. Probably a... Oh, it's a Skirk Prospector instead. Are you gonna Whoozy What's It? You are going to Whoozy What's It. I am paid off immediately for playing out my Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal, I am sorry I badmouthed you. Now my opponent is only going to be able to deal 1 damage to my creature and not actually be able to kill it. This is a really big deal. We are, however, in a good news, bad news situation. I got jack shit going on over here other than this 2/2. At least I descend. So that's the good news. We are probably working towards hard casting a Fury. Let's look at what's going on over there. That's great for me, probably. I am going to hold Lotus Petal in hand. My opponent, I guess, in theory, could Chalice on 0, and that punishes me not playing it out. Don't think I need to have this sacrifice ability up immediately, and I think I would like to be able to Surveil if I draw DRC, because I have 3 card types in Graveyard currently. So we'll scale up to 3/3. I'll draw a card. It's another Stalker. Honestly, with Lotus Petal, that's fine. It's just... Ooh, my opponent leaves Violet too. Interesting. That's fine. I think my opponent needs the mana more than I need the mana. I think. Fury is a thing. I don't know this one. Is this the token one? Yeah, this is the Foundation's token one. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, create a 1/1 Goblin. Fury fucking cleans house here. Yeah, Fury's real good. I should not have cast Lotus Petal. I did not need to do that. So we will Fury, evoked, bam, 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 yeah. I'm going to get a little sloppy with sequencing here because I don't think it matters. Send in for 3, trigger both of these. This Lotus Petal should still be in my hand in case I draw DRC. I can play it next turn if I don't draw DRC so that I have the sacrifice ability up. Opponent now working Vile up towards higher numbers for things like Goblin Ringleader. Yeah. Yeah. Little decisions matter. I do have the 4th card type in Graveyard now, admittedly, but like I could be seeing what my next draw step is and selecting for it. Welcome to knowing the right line, talking about the right line, and then making the wrong line. Happens a lot when you're streaming or recording. You get used to it. Outside of some sort of batshit insane goblin ringleader or Skirk prospector combo situation or something, I think we're good from here. We got a vial. Broadside's not bad. Broadside can hit me for 2 and then throw a vial at a creature to get rid of something. The fact that all of my creatures here have menace or flying is a little rough. Oh, it's the Stalker over the DRC. I think I like getting rid of the DRC more, but opponent might be viewing that as like that Stalker can get rid of Broadside. I believe it is now my turn and my permanents have not untapped. Yes. So we go to punchies. We punchies for 7. My opponent is at 2. I will fetch and surveil, and then we decide whether or not we're killing Broadside. That's a very awkward draw, because that is an incredible card in this matchup that I cannot currently cast, and that is not currently relevant. So I think I just get rid of it. This is going to scale up. I think since both of these are independently lethal threats, I do not need to remove Broadside. We get the concession. We came out of the gates relatively quickly there. Lotus Petal waxed and waned really hard in that matchup between how good it was. All right, I think we are ignoring Vial. I don't think that is a card that I'm going to try to answer. If my opponent has some secondary colorless permanents that we care about, you know, the Chalice of the Void sort of things, or Grafdigger's Cage, we can maybe think about Meltdown, but I'm not excited about those prospects. I probably don't want Thoughtseize, especially when my opponent is on the play. A lot of their stuff can just come out first before I do anything broken. So I think we are much more about trying to just kill my opponent's creatures once they hit the board. I think the play pattern of Fury, Reanimate, Fury goes a really long way in this matchup. I think I'm going to trim one of these, even though it's a red card for Fury. I think my opponent has enough random duders over there that this does not get to attack as a 2/2 Death Toucher very often. I am going to take a second to think, though, because a 2/2 Death Toucher is also just a blocker for the Goblin Lackey type cards of the world. I think it's one of these. Because I think no matter what, I'm cutting a red card. Like, I could cut a DRC over that, but DRC has evasion. This is a mediocre hand. The issue with keeping this hand is that if my opponent leads with turn 1 Goblin Lackey, I am basically dead to that. They don't get Feed the Swarm online before my opponent does the thing. I don't think I'm throwing back this hand. I think I accept that sometimes I do lose. Just to Lackey. It is a Vial? That is perfectly fine. It is another Vial. Donde está Meltdown? Fury's great. Zoyowa is now a pitch card for that. I think I get this out of the way. A little weird with the bobble. Yeah, I'll take that. I will bobble. Now let's see what's going on with your card. You're going to draw Broadside. Broadside's a good card. I have a Sorcery. Broadside could come down immediately. I can feed the Swarm it if it does. I also do just have Fury Reanimate. I have this Goyf threatening in the mid-game. I wonder how many Ancient Tombs my opponent is playing. Animate's dead now. Cool. So I think this turn becomes Cycle. Get basic Swamp to hedge against a Blood Moon effect, because I think it's pretty free for me to do so. I think I use this first Reanimate on the Troll, and I have Animate dead for Fury, as well as another land drop to back that up. So I think this is overall fine. It's pretty hard for red removal to take out a Troll. Not impossible, it's pretty hard. And I think if my opponent plays out a Broadside, attacks me for 2, and throws a reasonable sized thing at me, I don't think I am dead to that. Between the Lifelinker and the Fury and the Feed the Swarm here. Opponent ticks both vials up towards 2. Alright, there's Broadside. So I will take 2 to the attack, I'm at 12. And then we'll see if they throw a vial at me, we'll see if they vial in a creature, then throw that at me, we'll see if they vial in something that kills Troll. Fantastic. This is going to be a rough turn for my opponent. Oh, I see. So they make their Goblin and then throw that. Good God. All right. Well, Fury, pitch this thing. I think we will go 3-1. If one of these is saved by a random lord off Vial, I want Broadside to always die here. Fantastic. I will swing in for 6. Put my opponent to 9. And then Goif it up. I have Animate Dead on Fury lined up. I have Animate Dead on Broadside lined up. This is a tough spot for my opponent. Not going to say that it is impossible for them to get out of this. Goblins is capable of some crazy things, but they're only going to be on 3 cards. It might require, like, Matron into Broadside, Boggart Trawler. That's certainly good. Double Broadside. My Goif is only a 2/3 now. My opponent has played another Aether Vial, paying life, activated Battlecry Goblin, and is now going to crash in. And is going to make a friend. I can hit my opponent to 1 with Troll alone. If I animate dead, I just kill them with Broadside. I'm not sure if there is some direct damage goblin that I am not thinking of that I need to be playing around here. I think I am going to just block, because I still have a lethal attack, and this just hedges against something going wrong. So, animate dead. Target Broadside. Could be another Boggart Trawler to mess this up. But there is not. We are undefeated with this deck. I would say somewhat surprisingly. Okay, it hasn't come up much this league, but this is the cost of trying to cheat on the number of lands you play. Occasionally, you're going to have to mulligan hands that don't actually have an initial mana source. Ooh, basic swamp. Not great. I'm on the play here. I don't think so. I think I'll go to 5. Bobble redraw plus draw step is a lot to hit a second land drop. I think we're playing Zoyowa without getting immediate descent value. That's mid? We'll go to 5. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Well. No. All right, what are we playing against? Oh, fuck. Opponent woke up and chose violence. I don't need to draw the second card immediately. God, these fucking Thoughtseizes are gonna suck, too. We are, as the children say, cooked. I lose my winning streak to Pox. Or just like a mono black beatdown deck. I accept. Wamp and Thoughtseize. This is why we didn't draw with the second bubble, by the way. We're holding this card on board. I almost certainly lose my DRC here. Yeah. Blue to Delta, their next draw. Reanimate a Fury? Or save my 1 land. 6 power, 3 turn clock, or save my 1 land. If I reanimate and my opponent smallpoxes, like, it's lights out. If I Thoughtseize and my opponent has 2 sinkholes or a wasteland, it's lights out. I think we're throwing down on the Fury. We are on a mold of 5, and I am in great danger. I think we are just going to YOLO. Fury dodges Fatal Push, so if my opponent is maxing out on Fatal Pushes, we can dodge there. Alright, sinkhole occurs. YOLO until morale improves. Okay. I am happy with how things are going thus far. Okay. I'm in. Send in with Fury. Yes. Ping me. Opponent can block if they would like. Lightning Bolt or Thoughtseize. Fury is a 2-turn clock regardless. I don't think Lightning Bolt goes to face. Lightning Bolt on Stalker on my own turn, so that Stalker dying can't trigger another Stalker is real. Think that. So there's this concern that my opponent just makes a land drop and plays something like the One Ring that is a Haymaker that I am unlikely to beat. If I send Lightning Bolt at face, the One Ring becomes less good. There's still also things like Shouldered that my opponent can drop that are just a massive problem. That's fine. Sure. Send it. Yeah. That's fine. So This land is not live because of opposition agent. I'm going to play it out anyway in case I hit more land drops. But it is certainly awkward. So now I don't get two Thoughtseize. Fantastic. We might have YOLO'd hard enough to stay alive. Maybe steal a win here. Alright. This is a big turn. Is it? Another opposition agent. No! Basic. Most of the things that I reanimate here are a little bit awkward. DRC for flying, so Bowmaster can't end up blocking that. No, if my opponent has Bowmaster, they play it this turn. Stalker can start scaling up. Opposition Agent can stop my opponent from doing something like Beseech the Mirror. Opposition Agent is bad versus Bowmasters. DRC is better versus Bowmasters. DRC Thoughtseize for value is a thing. This turn's fucking hard. I think I'm going to go Bowmasters so that if my opponent has the one ring, I have something that checks that. Doesn't check it immediately. Now an Edict does not kill my Fury. Ah, damn. I think we want to mulligan to 4. Woo! Alright. I like Goyf. I like removal spells. I'm not super a fan of Thoughtseize. And I think I trim one card that touches the graveyard in some capacity, under the assumption that my opponent may be bringing in Leyline of the Void. Like Leyline of the Void, Helm of Obedience, plus Stealthy Voidwalker seems very, very reasonable as things that my opponent might be doing. Go with the one that comes down on turn 2. I will say, Zoyowa has not gotten just sideboarded out in Force this league. This is a fine hand unless my opponent opposition agents, in which case, holy shit, we're dead. I think I like the tools that are at my disposal here. Gosh, that makes me nervous. I think it's a there's nothing to be done moment if they have Dark Ritual opposition agent. They don't. Okay, so do I need Badlands next is the next question. I kind of do. I can potentially get Mountain, surveil my way to a second land drop. I could also get Swamp and try to luck sack my way towards any other land drop. This is a tough choice. I think I'm going to go DRC with Mountain. So yeah, we're just looking for any land, and we'll accept a Cycler as well. That is like really not what I want. I know I said any land, but I think I meant anyone but that one. I think I draw now. It's bad versus Thoughtseize, but better versus Bowmasters. Okay. So I'm paid off for getting Mountain. We are getting some end of turn action. It is just surveilling. I'm not going to read into this as my opponent actually has green in their deck. I think that is just the... Oh, wow. They don't want Snuff Out. That's indicative of already having removal. That is not a land. Bowmaster currently kills this. Yeah. I have Fury. That's not that big of a deal. I would really like to hit an untapped land or one of my 8 cyclers this turn. It smooths things out a lot for me if that happens. Get pinged. Miss. So we did not high roll after binning the theater. I think I'm going to try to get greedy with the Fury and not remove things. I don't know. It does... Oh, right. No, I can't play that one. I was about to say it does trigger Descend. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get greedy with Fury. Third land drop. We'll take this hit. 17. Flash creatures are annoying. 3, 6, 7, 8. Now I play something, or I discard. I think my opponent has opposition agent. I'm going to go to my end of turn and pass priority to them, have them play opposition agent, and then I'm going to unholy heat opposition agent. And if that doesn't happen, so be it. I accept. Let's assume that Feed the Swarm is unnecessary at this stage. It's awkward if my opponent plays Leyline immediately. Oh, maybe they do have bonus mana here. I'll take this hit still. Don't opposition agent me. Oh, fuck yeah. So we get the Swamp. We play the Stalker. Call that good? I think call that good. I'm getting so beyond greedy with Fury here. Let the record show that if I die by 1 or 2 points of life at the end, it is fully my fault. Alright, we have successfully played around the Wasteland. I'm at 13. You or you be mana efficient versus don't take a red card out of hand. Could also simply animate dead troll. That's not terrible. See if my opponent has a response to that. We're in play. This troll might just die to an edict or something. I think at this point I've taken enough damage from these that I can blow one of the 2 copies of Fury without feeling bad about it. Fury. We are in a weird lag loop here. For the 4th time that I've clicked through this. Nope. Magic Online. I am doing my best to give you the benefit of the fucking doubt here, bud. Like, you gotta put these things on the stack. Goldred's Edict. Yeah, that's fine. I'm expecting things like Edict and Push to be over there if my opponent is not deploying extra threats. Oh, fuck yeah, another basic? Let's fucking go. This is my big payoff card, but this is just not scaling immediately and falls into range of Bowmasters, so I think I will play this out. Gotta fetch. Another basic, there's a Fatal Push. Yeah, not unexpected. Once upon a time. Ooh-wee. I am glad that I have an answer to that. Oh no, it's a 6/7. I don't like what I have to do here. I think it is very hard for me to hardcast a Fury right now. So, I'm going to resolve Unholy Heat first, just to make sure nothing wonky happens with a Fairy Macabre or whatever. 6 damage marked on that. Alright, come on. Come on, bud. Nuke the Goyf. Play a threat. Now I get to scale this up because I waited a turn, and now a Bowmaster ping does not immediately kill this. Some other removal spell might. Again, what is my opponent going to have? Yeah, that's fine. If not removal. Okay, yep. More removal. Reanimate. Goyf is just the biggest thing at 6/7. It also costs me less life. Troll is less blockable. I think I like the lifelink and losing less life innately. Another edict. Sure. I will swamp cycle that, but I don't need to play the land immediately. Note that I can die to Helm at any time if my opponent has sideboarded that in, or had it main deck for that matter. I think I cycle that as well. Now I will start making land drops. It's just pretty unlikely that I am going to get to 6 mana through my opponent's Wasteland. Yeah. And like they have sinkholes and stuff in their deck potentially as well. This one I think I'm okay playing out. I'm not going to take the time to look at my deck list. I am significantly behind on time due to Magic Online lag. I will reboot after this match. Sure. I'm probably going to end up just casting Unholy Heat on that. I think my life total is currently precious enough that I do that. I will do it on the Bowmaster rather than the token, even though the token could hit me for more immediately. I have Bobble redraws that I would like to keep valid. Alright, this is a 2/2 Death Toucher. With Leyline of the Void here, this is not going to be doing a lot of work. I also think there's a decent chance that my opponent might have more removal still. They sure have a lot of land. Does the long game favor me here? Unsure. I think I'm going to hold back defensively. I might just die to Helm. But I have a bunch of like Goyfs and stuff that I am drawing towards that feel perfectly reasonable. And my Reanimates and Animate Deads are still live. Sure? Come on. Come on. Come on. Badlands. I am now on 5 mana. I do have 1 more mana source in my deck. If I get Wastelanded or Sinkholed once, I no longer get to hardcast Friends. Leyline's fine. DRC is fine. I do have Delirium. I think with that secondary creature in play, I am willing to start attacking now. 16. I have become the beatdown. I might have been the beatdown for a couple of turns. Cool. I've got Lightning Bolt for some selection here. I don't think I cast that immediately. I'm fine surveilling. I'm not going to take that redraw. I will just take an immediate card and not open myself up to some Bowmaster shenanigans. Send in with both. Opponent is at 11. Mouse. What do you have in hand? Alright, holding this back. Plague Engineer resolves. Does not actually kill any of my stuff. Although I will probably just Lightning Bolt that creature. so that my own creatures can attack on in. Use Plague Engineer. Go. Go Lightning Bolt, go Lightning Bolt, go. Yes. Absolutely. Continue the beatdown. Opponent's at 6. I mean, let's see if we die to a Helm. Douthy. That doesn't block. Sure. Send it. Necessary block is necessary. Opponent is at 1. I am at 14. I will not fetch. That's turn 19, folks. I don't know what was going on my opponent's side. Like, I don't know if they had, like, multiple Chain of Smogs in hand, and they also have, like, a Witherbloom Apprentice Chain of Smog combo, or what. But my opponent just did not take any game actions for a very long time. That was a very tight game, and I believe we are now playing for a trophy with a Rakdos Zoyowa deck. Alright, trophy time. Let's play tight, make it work. Opponent says, oh wow, it's the man himself. You're the only thing standing between me and a trophy. I don't know that we keep this hand. I'm on the play. This doesn't leverage the fact that I'm on the play super well, but it takes multiple redraws. And any threat, any reanimation effect is good. This might be one of those times where I just kind of grin and bear it and accept if the top 3 cards of my library are all bad, that this hand doesn't work out. 3 draws, 17 hits. I'm going to math that out. Oh, that's actually only like 55%. That's not great. Let's not gamble on that then. This is fine. Now, am I playing Zoyowa on 1 or Stalker on 1? I think Stalker on 1, so I can Zoyowa on 2. I don't really want to get rid of Reanimate. Man, this extra card matters a lot. Maybe I just get rid of Lightning Bolt, and I have this as an emergency pitch card for Fury. I wasted a lot of clock on a day when MTGO is lagging. Oops. To be fair, I do not think that was a waste of time. I'm gonna Stalker. I could just YOLO here. I could just YOLO really fucking hard here. Just play Fury, Reanimate Fury. Yeah, I'm gonna YOLO really hard here. That's a hyper-aggressive start. Like, after I've seen that my opponent isn't going to Force of Will my first play. Reanimate. So this also scales up my Stalker. So I have 8 power in play on turn 1 after taking a mulligan. You know, things can go wrong here, but this is very aggressive. White removal is not what I want to see, because white removal can clearly answer Fury. Onder. Delicious cantrip that is not answering my onboard creatures. Now I'd like to draw like a fetch land or one of my cyclers. Unholy Heat is not what I'm looking for, but we'll take it. Opponent's at 11. So Ponder did not shuffle last turn, so presumably there's going to be some sort of either Lightning Bolt or removal spell or something here. And now we see how far this Stalker goes. 3 card types in graveyard, for those of you keeping track at home. Second land drop. Yeah, opponent says Moto lag. It's been bad today. So there's Delver. I'm not going to attempt to play around days here. We're just going to attempt to eat that immediately. Just need to have my mana available for my own cards. Hey, love that. We're just going to kind of lazily do this pre-combat. Get Theater. Play Theater. I mean, it has points of power and toughness. That is not an ideal draw. I have much better draws than that. I think I just take it. I already have my 4 card types in graveyard. This is already scaling up. This is a 3-turn clock by itself. Wasteland. That's fine. I have a 1-drop on top of my deck. Ooh. Okay, so I don't know that I like wastelanding prior to pondering. You shut off opportunities to play and crack a fetch. It's no shuffle on the ponder. That's a DRC. You've got it. So I get an attack for 3. Menace is good. Menace. Okay, they figured it out. Down to 5. And Stalker. So things like Force of Willing and Fetch Landing are starting to get a little sketchy. This has to attack every turn. if able, right now. A Murktide Regent could be played, stabilizing the board and keeping DRC from having to attack. That's probably the scariest thing that could happen here. Although, honestly, a Lightning Bolt on my larger Stalker is not great for me. Ooh. We are all in, baby. But we've been all in since turn 1. Like, we knew what we were doing. I think it is Murktide. It is Murktide, and exactly what I was afraid of happened. So my opponent no longer has Delirium, they are no longer forced to attack, and I'm gonna get Wastelanded. I'm not getting Wastelanded! No! Oh, okay, okay. It is a Dismember. I don't know how I feel about that Dismember. So that Dismember is putting them to 1. If I find an answer for DRC, I get to swing in with Menace for lethal. Oh, I don't know that I like that. Yeah, I am a red card away from victory. Ooh, buddy. This is also 3 card types in Graveyard. So Ponder is now offline as a castable card. Surveils are kind of dangerous. Oh, and this counts as Descending. So if my opponent does have black mana, and I am stating that as an if they do have black mana, something like Bowmaster is now offline. So I guess if you're going to Dismember, you Dismember on your own turn so that this doesn't happen. Oh, this is going to be tight. This is going to be tight. Force of Will is offline. If I get Wastelanded, Daze is back online. Seek the Beast. 2 cards just entered exile. That's a land and a Brainstorm. Yeah, you've got it. So my opponent should not have played that land because they could Brainstorm into a Volcanic Island or a Wasteland or whatever that's actually playable and produces mana, whereas this Misty does not produce mana. So I think that was just an autopilot, like, this is free value moment. Red card. Fuck, yes! Let's fucking go! Yuri, pitching Zoyowa, and we're doing this around Daze, and Force of Will is offline. I think that does it. Nice! We're gonna deal 3 damage to this. Yeah! Alright, I only need one of these next 2 for the trophy. We YOLO'd successfully. You can maybe make an argument that YOLOing was wrong, but damn, that produced a strong start. So, I conceptually like Pyroblast to answer Murktide. I like Goyf, because it's Goyf. These are cards that you can have conversations about. I do not like Thoughtseize. I actively think that attacking my opponent's hand is wrong. Probably trim a couple of these. Probably trim about 2 of them. Feed the Swarm is a weird removal spell. It's like perfectly fine versus Delvers and DRCs, and then very bad versus Murktide Regent. Going +5 removal spells and +3 lifelinkers is maybe good. Do we do a thank you for your service? I think we do a thank you for your service. I think maxing out on removal and keeping my threat density high is good. I could consider Leyline of the Void. I don't think it makes sense, but it's not crazy. This is a fine opening hand. I have 3 removal spells, and we'll call it a threat and a half. We've got a Delta. Opponent goes for a basic and a Delver. I might just try to kill that Delver immediately. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to kill that Delver immediately. Eat, I think. I eat the Daze. That is acceptable. We can try again next turn. I think I save Bobble. As of right now, next turn I'm going Badlands, Lightning Bolt, around Daze, Stalker, Bobble. That's how I descend. So I think I play no other spells this turn. This deck has a surprising number of moving parts and decisions for a Rakdos deck. No Delver flip. Appreciate it. Delver will be set up to flip next turn. And I will take 1. I am at 18. Basic? Or I can descend over multiple turns, which is probably better. I think descending multiple turns in a row is better. So attempt Lightning Bolt on Delver. This is Dazable. Does not get dazed. Let's take a look at what was on top for the Delver. It'll be an instant or sorcery of some kind. Oh? That feels like a mistake. Or it was a very weird string of cards off that cantrip. They kept off the Ponder. But not setting up the Delver there feels very weird. Do I have a bonus basic? Mountain, Swamp. Okay, cool. Just passing the turn. Okay. Am I getting bolted? That's fine if that's the case. Yeah, that's totally fine. More removal is great. End of turn Surveil Land is probably fine. Let's go with that. And I will probably cycle Troll for basic Swamp prior to doing the Surveil Land. Oliphant might be staying in hand to be a red card for Fury if things get a little weird. Currently afraid of Murktide Regent. There's the DRC. It's a 3/3, which is perfectly fine and beatable. I don't think I'm hardcasting this Fury. I don't think I'm pitchcasting this Fury on it. We can Lightning Bolt right now. We do so around something like a Spell Pierce. So then Swamp Cycle for basic Swamp. Surveil Land for Theater. I'm going to say no to that. Ho, 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 ho. Yes. Great Force of Will target. It's outside of range of red removal. It's outside of range of Dismember. Do you have a force? Damn. Whoa, opponent pitched Murktide Regent. That is the card that I am sitting here, like, fretting about. That is surprising to me. It might have been the only option, to be fair. Or there might be two Murktides. Is Seek the Beast. Okay. What's the timing on Seek the Beast again? Until your next end step. So that is not going to be valid here. Yeah, I wonder if my opponent cast this with the wrong timing. Like maybe they just save that, wait until my turn, then this stuff happens. But I think they're looking for a land drop. I'm going to cycle this. I think I'm into hard casting the Fury. I'm going to get another basic just in case something like Price of Progress is in my opponent's deck. I will just play Stalker. It is a suboptimal Stalker in that I am not immediately growing this. I don't think I'm casting Fury into Daze. Not until there's a creature on board, at least. If I didn't draw another threat, like, maybe Brainstorm. So if my opponent shuffles after this, there's probably a very low chance that they actually do have a Daze in hand afterwards. Because, like, I just used a single mana on my turn. Ooh, no, did they just Brainstorm lock themselves? That's not great, if so. No, okay. It's just Moto lag. My opponent has Questing Druid, which I could immediately remove via Stalactite Stalker. I think I do. I think I do. I think this game is currently favoring me. And I don't want to cast Fury, have my opponent counter it, this grows to a 2/2 or something, and then I, like, am in this awkward race position with Stalactite Stalker's size versus Questing Druid size. This is very close to hard castable as a follow-up threat. I think I am comfortable casting a 3/3 double striker in 2 days. Okay. We're in play. This is a lightning boltable threat, though. Like, let's not get too excited here. It is a 3-turn clock, though. That's a DRC. I don't have a removal spell for that. That is a Dismember for my Fury. And opponent junks Flooded Strand. As Wasteland. Wasteland's actually annoying. Oh, they're not pulling the trigger on it. Okay. So, look at the top card of my library. If it's not good, I shuffle. Will my opponent pick up on the fact that I have a 6-drop in hand if I target myself? Unsure. I'm gonna target myself. Okay. Wait, that's awkward. See if my opponent wastelands me, I guess. I don't like this game of Wasteland Chicken that I'm currently in. I'm going to shuffle the secondary bauble. Pick up a Badlands. Pick up my own DRC. I'll take 3. I'm at 14. Healthy adjacent. Okay, now I'm getting wastelanded. Alrighty. I have plenty of good top decks here. Holy fucking shit. My deck has my goddamn back today. Holy cow. And that is a 5/6 specifically. These are forced to attack. This is a lot of lifelink. Block, I think. When it's not in black, so I'm not in true black, so I'm not sweating edicts. That's not bad. Big Brazen Borrower tempo moment. Oh, hell yeah. I will absolutely mill 5 cards. Just Goifs from the fucking top rope. Holy cow. Let's do this. I don't think I play Feed the Swarm here. I don't think this card is threatening anymore. I think I save this for a Murktide Regent style card that could stabilize the board. Oh, that's GG. That one feels good. We worked for it this league, and we took a few crazy risks that paid out in our favor. Well, obviously, that was a great league, but let's do our analysis here at the end. Overall thoughts on the deck list. It was pretty good, but I was definitely scared most of the league. This has an insanely good Reanimate. With 8 cyclers, you can just very consistently turn to Reanimate or Animate Dead with this deck. But you don't have to, because you just have these solid 1-drops as well. Zoyowa did some things through the league. I don't hate it as another creature that plays into this descend mechanic. I like how low to the ground this deck is. Like, if you count these as, I guess, 1-drop cyclers and this as a 0-drop, which isn't, fully faithful, but like if you look at that, like the regular curve stops at 2, and in the games that we know are going to be slower, we have the ability to bring in these very, very powerful haymakers that are great when we bring in a pile of removal to support them. The fact that this is red for Fury was really important throughout the league, and I was often hesitant to trim this just because it's a red card. I will say that its abilities here did not feel game-winning. It was just kind of like, ooh, I found a quarter on the street. That is kind of the power level of this card in my estimation. Like, Death Touch was fine. Death Touch was relevant. This walled some smaller creatures like Bowmasters. It disincentivized some attacks into it. I do not believe that this is a bad card, but I don't believe that this is a fully good card either. So Isaac, thank you very much for giving me this challenge to brew around this card. And again, thank you very much to the folks on my Discord who helped me tune this afternoon. This deck is fully fucking ready to go for your FNM. Like, if you own Badlands already, a lot of the stuff that you are unlikely to own is probably pretty cheap to round out this deck list. And if you need those cards, just saying, you know where to go. Promo code ThrabenU. As far as the sideboard goes, sideboard felt tight. Sideboard felt good. Sometimes there was this tension, like in the Phyrexian Dreadnought matchup, where we weren't really sure if our cards were going to line up well versus the threats that my opponent drew, because some of our things like Pyroblast and Meltdown missed stuff. But overall, sideboard felt good. You are considering tweaking this. I think it's perfectly reasonable to play for Fear of Missing Out, where I have Zoyowa. I also don't think you would be a crazy person to try playing Kroxa in this deck list. I am not a fan of Kroxa in Legacy, but Kroxa has been pretty impressive in Modern, although Kroxa was more impressive in Modern when Arena of Glory was part of the deck. And while Arena of Glory on, making an Oliphant or a Fury into a haste creature sounds really good, basic lands are good, and I was very glad that I had 3 of them in my deck over the course of this league. We mulliganed 1 or 2 hands that did not have an initial mana source, but generally speaking, the balance of this deck felt about right. And I think that's all I have to say. That was really fun. That was a great way to spend an afternoon, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, consider leaving me a like or a comment and whatnot, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!